Started with questions.
Talk about getting bowl practice started.
It's great to get bowl practice started. Get back out there on the field. Our guys have had a couple of weeks, I think, to let their bodies, their minds rest and get ready to go. I know the first as we go through bowl practice, we're going to kind of get everybody running and stretched out and ready to go today and get themselves going over the next week. We're going to do a lot of concentrating on us, really just working on ourselves, working on fundamentals, working on base offense, defense, giving a lot of young guys opportunities and reps, and then after that we'll get into game week preparations.
Can you update the injuries like Tyler?
Yeah, they expect everybody to play for the game. We're gonna shut a lot of guys down this week, so you won't see a lot of the older guys getting lots of reps out there. But I don't think there's anybody really a new injury that is expected to miss the bowl game.
It's almost kind of become routine now, getting this extra practice 3 years in a row. Talk about the benefits of that being in there.
Well, it's huge. I don't want to make it routine. I want to make it's pretty special. We're both playing our second New Year's Day bowl game in 3 years, and I know I expect to have another home field advantage for us. We did a couple years ago down there. We did last year in Nashville for the bowl game, and I expect our fans to give us that home field advantage again as we continue to build the program. And those are special opportunities to get to play New Year's Day. But for our guys, it is. I always think of a bowl as a reward. And the better the season you have, the better reward you get at the end. And playing New Year's Day in Florida is a pretty darn good reward for the great season we had.
You use the same bowl schedule you used 2 years ago, or the things you didn't like about going down there that you did?
I don't know. We're hoping for the same result.
Right.
So, no, very, very similar. I think there's some little tweaks with the bowl and, different events that they have, but we're going to use a very, very similar schedule that we used from a couple years
ago. Gabe Jackson, I guess the other day, was tweeting about his future, and a lot of the juniors obviously send their stuff to the advisory committee. I was wondering if you can comment on that and how you guys help them here the next.
Yeah, what we do, I talk to the guys. The first one I ask, when we sit down, I meet with the seniors and make sure they're organized for their plans for the future, and then the juniors and ask. None of them said, "Hey, I want to come out early." So I said, "Okay, who wants to research it?" And a couple of them raise their hands, and we're going to fill out some paperwork to the NFL advisory board. And what we do is we wait, we get the paperwork back, we sit down with players and their families, and and try to give them the best advice possible. And it seems to have worked out. Look at John Banks. He and I spent a lot of time talking about that. Had the opportunity to come back, and has done something special. What a special night that was last night. I think he's the first Mississippi player to win a major award in a long, long, long time, right? I said maybe since Hugh Green in 1980. Is that what it is? You guys probably know that research, not me. One of the first Mississippi All-Americans, first-team All-Americans since probably a decade. I'm sure you guys have all that research done up. So, but to be a Mississippi-born kid and get all those awards is pretty special. So. It worked out very well for him, and I think because of that, those situations, I think our guys kind of trust us and know that we're going to try to help them as much as possible to become successful.
Gabe and who else was looking?
I haven't seen who's Gabe and Nico. I know we're going to fill it out. I don't know if Tyler ended up doing it and Danico Autry and those guys. I don't know if they did or not, but those were the two that I knew were going to do it. And Rocky Felker does a lot helping them out. I'm out on the road recruiting a lot this time of year, so I know he kind of was helping them get all the paperwork filed.
How was the feedback on the recruiting trail here the last week or two?
It's been great. I think people see the direction we're headed in. And when you're looking and you're playing playing New Year's Day and the traditional New Year's Day big time bowl games in 2 out of the last 3 years, and then last year playing another great bowl game. I think everyone sees the direction. I've always talked about you don't just come out of nowhere to build a championship season. It takes that stability, that consistent winning, and building the foundation of a program for the future. And I think everybody sees that's really what we've done here over the last several years.